Look at this garden. Plants like these get their health and vitality from super soil, soil that's rich in all the nutrients that plants need to grow. Let me show you how to start composting to get better soil and healthier, happier plants. Composting has been called black gold because of its tremendous benefit in the garden. Compost improves your soil structure, and good soil helps plants' root growth and allows for better water holding capacity. Now, when you're choosing the site for your compost bin, you want to make sure that it's got good drainage. You also want to allow for good air circulation because air needs to get into the moisture of the pile, and that'll help with the decomposition process. Now, it's also good to consider having a water source handy because you will need to keep the pile damp. Now, when you're putting things in, you want to make sure that the pieces are fairly small. So you might want to shred things before, unless they come in smaller pieces like leaves. They're fine to go in as they are. Now, of course, you don't need any kind of enclosure for a compost pile or heap. But what I've got here is a simple wire frame, and this will form a bin, and that tends to keep the pile a little more neat and tidy. And of course, there are other ways that you can do this too. The basic recipe for compost is 50% green material and 50% brown material. You don't have to be exact with that ratio. If it's not precisely 50-50, that's okay, because composting is a pretty forgiving thing and the materials will still break down for you. Now, you want to layer these things, and I put down a layer of green, and then next you'd put down a layer of brown. Now, scientifically, these greens and browns are carbon and nitrogen. Nitrogen is the green stuff, the soft stuff, the smelly stuff like grass clippings and manure, old vegetables, plants that are still green from the garden. That's half of what makes up compost. The other half is carbon. Now that would be the dry stuff, like old corn stalks and twigs and wood chips. So again, I'm going to layer. So I've got a green layer here, and then I'm going to go in with the wood chips, which is a brown layer. Now, in between these green and brown layers, it's helpful to put a layer of soil and a bit of water. That'll help the whole process start to break down. And you never want to put anything into your compost bin that had pesticides on it or any diseased plants, because that'll contaminate your compost. Fall cleanup is an ideal time to start a compost pile. And all you need is a simple recipe: green, brown, soil, and water. Just add the layers. And if you start the pile in the fall, just in a couple of seasons, through the fall and the winter, by springtime, you should have compost at your fingertips, ready for that spring planting. Compost. Your plants will love it.